Where's Toby when we need her?
Non-combat areas, air support, that kind of thing, perhaps.
Well, you know, there's no perfect model for what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is to support the diplomacy. And the process of working, the State Department sent out, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 dozen cables asking for countries that are interested in cooperating and getting involved in the planning process, so that in the event force has to be used, that planning will have taken place. The same thing's true with NATO. We are proceeding to flow forces in an orderly way. We're doing some alerting, we're doing some mobilizing, and we're doing some deploying. We also recognize that the timing of the decision-making is not in our hands. So what we have to do is to try to do what we're doing in a way that gives the President and the world options to use force if, in fact, that becomes necessary. While at the same time recognizing that one can't pick a date certain or even a time frame certain, and therefore what you must do is also have backup plans so that you don't overstress the force and that you manage it in a way that's appropriate. And we're doing the very best we can, and it's so far so good.
Suggestion from inspectors that they'd like months more to continue their work.
That's not a call for me, that's a call for the President. In the case of Iraq, the task is to connect the dots before there's a smoking gun. If there's a smoking gun and it involves weapons of mass destruction, it is a lot of people dead, not 3,000, but multiples of that. And that is what the world is going through. The world is doing it at a time in a new century with a new set of facts where the power, the lethality of these weapons is so vastly greater than conventional weapons, and as has historically been the case. And what the world is doing is it is wrestling with a dilemma. The dilemma is that historically we've tended to not do things until attacked. That has been generally the pattern.
Just doesn't quite understand, and it's there, brothers, sisters.
Today?
It could be either today or tomorrow. David?
Can you describe a little bit about what the in Iraq, would the United States seek another resolution from the United Nations if the President decides military action is necessary?
The President made it clear in his discussions with members of the Security Council after the first resolution was passed that the President would commit to consulting with the Security Council and with members of the Security Council on any eventualities thereafter. The President will keep his word. There will be ongoing consultations, and it's been possible to go beyond that in terms of guessing at what a specific result may or may not be.
Do you distinguish between consultations and a resolution? Well,
certainly that's exactly why I indicated I can't predict what specific actions might result as a result of those consultations throughout the day. The President will welcome British Prime Minister Blair to Camp David.
There is a growing frustration about the administration's unwillingness to include the Congress, about its unwillingness to work with the Congress. If you recall, the Iraq resolution last fall required the administration to come to the Congress within 60 days with a report. That report is now a month overdue. We don't yet know what the administration's official position is as a result of their unwillingness to share a report with us.